Hello, everyone. My name is Anatoly Shamkin. I'm a VP of product at DeskAlerts. Today I'm presenting a specific problem, which is the engagement for field like remote field workers and utilizing like tools like DeskAlerts. So these are sort of persistent messaging essentially tools and platforms. So during the course of the presentation, we will look at the problem itself. Then I will present some cases or options for essentially solving the issue, and give essentially like to give like a different perspective of how it can be tackled through the communication, through various communications and the various like company processes. And once the presentation is over, feel free to ask questions. You can also just like type your questions in the chat, and I will check check your questions and respond to them. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so first of all, the trends, right, and the definition of the remote field workers. So when I speak about the remote field workers, I'm talking about the workforce which works like away from the urban areas. Sometimes the places are really remote, like ferry terminals, gas stations, like mining sites. Remote like building, like remote construction sites and such. And what are the typical challenges with these guys? So first of all, they typically do not have like corporate emails. Very often these people work on temporary contracts, or they are outsourced. So they're not really kind of present in the corporate systems. No email, no corporate phone number. At the same time, they do have majority of them do have like smartphones, that's the world today. Like everybody has a smartphone. The other moment here is that majority of the population that uses like smartphones today, they are quite comfortable with using various like real-time communication platforms. So this is the initial, essentially setup initial information. Let's move to the next slide. So, respectively, what are the challenges with this big like a group of employees and contractors? So, because they're working at remote sites, they often feel isolated and disconnected. There's not enough like real-time communication, and there are also like often like cultural and linguistic barriers. If you look at the markets at the moment, at the example in like Saudi Arabia, in Emirates, so they have like a huge workforce that come from abroad, from the countries nearby and not so nearby. And the one of the issues is that these people, they don't speak Arabic, they don't speak English, so there is like a variety of languages that they operate, but they don't speak neither Arabic nor English, right? So how to essentially communicate effectively with them. Next slide. So one of the ways essentially to there is like a number of ways that we can improve this situation and kind of engage these guys, just sort of bring them in, pull them into the realm of the corporate like culture, strategy, processes, like policies and so on and so forth, is by um, organizing like the reliable communication channel, right? And uh, inform them about the safety protocols, inform them about any kind of safety hazards or alert or incidents. Also, we can utilize like geofencing to be more precise about localization of specific incident. Um, we need to give them ability to read their or to receive the communications in their native language, so to overcome language barriers. And we need to give them ability to have their voice essentially heard. So give them ability to um, inform essentially the company, either like raise incidents or inform about the service degradation and such. We will talk more about it in the next couple of slides. And then the other thing is the operational efficiency. Essentially, it's all about making suggestions on how to make their work more efficient, safe, and even like probably more fun, more easy to do. Okay, moving to the next slide. So, because I'm kind of trying to achieve two goals in this presentation. One is talk about this particular problem, right, of people working in the field like remotely. The other one is like raise your awareness about the product that I'm representing. So I will talk a little bit about the DeskAlerts. So this is like an internal communication platform, and it was built to like historically with the single purpose to deliver intrusive essentially messages that pertain to like I don't know, like life-threatening events or some critical changes in the company infrastructure, right, or operations or processes, as well as the sending like alerts about the I don't know, like the disasters, like the sudden I don't know fires, bad weather conditions, and so on and so forth. The product consists of two parts. One side is the server application that serves the two types of users. The one is the publishers. These are the people who craft or create the content of the alerts and then send them to the users, like to the company employees, and then the other type is the typical administrators and managers. These guys they normally look at like stats and look at essentially at the performance of the system. And then on the receiving side, there is a number of client applications that we built for various like operating systems and the types of hardware. And the goal of these client applications is to essentially serve the employees, serve the contractors, to be like to be able to receive essentially and to view and to respond to the communications that are sent from the server. Next slide. Yeah, just go over again some key features of the product. The product can send real-time notifications directly to employees, making sure that they receive and acknowledge urgent communications immediately. and it doesn't really matter on what operating systems or what kind of hardware they're sitting at the moment. We are serving like PCs, Macs, mobile devices, and the other benefit is like employees can provide immediate feedback, allowing for two-way communications. And as I mentioned, on the server side, the management and the administrators and the people who publish the alerts, they can actually see, they can view the impact, and they can view the impact of this like communication to the employees and contractors in terms of the engagement rates, like how many received them, how many essentially opened and read, and so on. Okay, moving to the next slide. Okay, now I'm moving to some interesting scenarios that related essentially to the problem that I'm presenting today, the problem of engagement of the remote field workers. And the first scenario is the company-wide messages from the president, right? So just to give you an idea, so the president comes, let's say it's like an oil company, a new person wants to essentially bring all people together, wants to essentially improve the cohesion and the collaboration between people in his company, and the question mark is like, okay, how can I do it when majority of the workforce population, they work essentially decentralized. So I can have, let's say, like 6, 7, 8,000 workers, and they're like working like everywhere, right? Okay, so how to reach them? And these workers, they like, some of them employees, some of them contractors, but because they're like blue collar workers, they don't have, let's say, corporate email. Okay, what should I do? And I really want to essentially to create the communication channel from myself all the way to the workers, right? So the everybody is essentially aligned with the company strategy, with the company cultural aspects, and so on. Okay, so how am I going to do it? Next slide. And so the way how I'm going to do it is like I need to organize the communication channel, right? And that channel needs to be real time. It cannot be like stale data. It shouldn't be information which travels across the organization over a significant amount of time before it actually reaches the field workers. So I really want to reach them directly, right? So and on a timely basis. So whatever I'm sending them is actually time relevant, right? And then I really want to essentially inform them about the things happening at the company, future plans, strategies, and so on and so forth regularly. Because like you really need to keep people informed and repeat them about essentially repeat the important information, because they have a tendency to distort the information. They have a tendency to forget about it. So you have to remind again and again. Next slide. So yeah, so in this particular case, the desk alert will be probably like a perfect choice because you can essentially, company president can make an order to craft the message to the employees. They can essentially they can then publish this message. The message will be distributed to all the employees, regardless of what type of hardware operating system they currently using. So, like everybody who has the DeskAlerts like client installed on the PC or the cell phone, they will get the message. Uh, Next one is the issue of overcoming language barriers. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, like the workforce today is quite diverse because we're living in a global world, and people are very mobile. They come from one country to work in another country. Um, so they're coming with different like cultural and linguistic backgrounds. So miscommunication, misunderstanding can occur because not everyone is fluent in the company primary language, and that can essentially sometimes lead to confusion. Sometimes it can lead to misinterpretation, right? And that's something that we want to avoid. We really want to send a clear message that everybody understands. So what we can offer today is the essentially as a solution is the ability to either send uh, messages with an option to automatically translate them, or give essentially an option to a publisher to bring to craft essentially separate message for each specific language audience. So you can have multiple like versions of the message for various like language and cultural audiences, but you can send them all at once. And then the on the client side, like on the employee side, they will receive this message essentially and read it in the native language, like the language of the client application that they opted to. So how we're doing with time? Yeah, that one is so the cool thing about is that is this feature or this approach creates the sense of inclusion, right? It fosters the sense of belonging and camaraderie. Creates like a very strong feeling of affiliation and loyalty, right? Increased collaboration. People feel like they're not they're part of the organization, and the it also improves the outlook of the company for the employees. They see the company as more progressive and centric on the employees. So, which essentially leads to better metrics when it comes to retention of the employees. Moving to the next slide. So, yeah, that one is quite interesting. That one doesn't. This issue doesn't happen very often, but when it happens, this type of problems they create quite a lot of disturbance. And so, what happens sometimes is the uh, the employees are facing a specific issue, right? And because they scope or their vision is often like tunnel focused on like here and now, right? Sometimes they don't realize that the problem that they're facing is like company wide or it is countrywide, and so they try to apply like various techniques, and nothing is working. There is often like panic and the unhappy customers, and maybe sometimes people can do like silly things. But in this case, I'm just looking at one vanilla example where there was, let's say, the country-wise like failure of the payment systems. Let's say some clearing houses had like a glitch, and then like all card processing in a specific country stopped, right? So let's say you have working at the gas station, and suddenly like nobody can pay with at the gas station with a credit or debit card. So they think that something is wrong with the devices, something is wrong with with the payment terminals. It can be they might think that there is an issue with the connectivity, and they try to bring the spare devices, or check, I don't know, some like Wi-Fi or some connection, start like disassembling this payment terminals, and so on and so forth. Where is like the tension growing? So in this situation, what can we do, right? Or what can be done? So we can encourage workers to report about the service abnormalities. So things that kind of look unusual, and so or any kind of like degradations of the services that they're using. And so what can happen then is, if we can spot these issues, if we can sort of process them, aggregate them, we can potentially be able to realize that there is essentially a big problem, right? The country or the company wide. So if they can share these observations, we're like one step ahead of the game. And the one example would be of utilizing this sort of approach or like principle is the employees, they can report about abnormalities in their native language. So then what we're going to do on our side is to essentially parse essential process and prioritize the incoming service degradation reports, and then essentially display the patterns for the operations personnel, so they can see whether essentially there is like a big black bubble brewing and increasing in size, right? So they can quickly essentially determine whether there is a problem. And if there is a problem, they can react immediately in a proactive fashion, and just send the communication to, in this case, like all the gas stations, all the employees, that, hey, there is like an outage in the banking, essentially payment clearing houses, and the terminals are not working, and this is what you can do. Like, these are the instructions, so people can receive this information immediately, get a peace of mind, talk to the customers, and avoid confrontations, avoid avoid essentially losing the customers. So in some cases, maybe even losing their health and life. Okay, we can also, as a continuation of this particular of the previous case, we can look at the scenario when we essentially sensing when we are integrating, when we essentially have a specific safety issue detected by the sensors and respectively safety platform. So smoke detectors, motion sensors, chemical leak sensors, gas leak sensors, right? So once they detect that hazard, they can they typically report this information to a centralized system, like safety sort of server. And what we can offer today is offer the essential integration with this type of solutions. So people will essentially receive instant alerts when the incident happens. And so what we can, how can we also complement this solution is by adding the geofence zones into the mix. And what it means is we can offer customers the detection of the geofence zone where the incident took place based on the sensor data that we're receiving, right? The geolocation of that particular sensor, and then we can determine that where it's located in what geofence zone, and notify the relevant response group and all the employees who are currently located in that particular area. So they can get like an instant message and essentially save their health and probably save their lives. At the same time, we don't want to spook other employees, and interrupt essential operations at other remote locations. And that scenario will allow us to send the alerts only to the targeted audience, right? Okay, that one I already touched. Then also the important aspect of the work of the remote field workers are the various training programs. Often they're dictated by the government, like the demand for this training. And so what we can offer in this particular space is the communications for the employees and contractors and that can be scheduled. Let's say somebody the employees, they need to take a specific course or training every 6 or 3 or or 5 months, and so we can essentially take that work about notifying them that the training is coming, and they can get the notification. The notification can have the link to, let's say, the training session. We also have a capability to essentially check the knowledge of check the knowledge that the people gain during the training by giving them an option to do quizzes and various assessments. And also gather feedback on the quality of the training models and how did they like them. We can also see potentially we can ask what were well, what needs to be improved. So this way we can get a better understanding on how can we further improve these training sessions. Next scenario is the routine maintenance updates. So that's something that also can be covered with DeskAlerts, because essentially this sort of tasks, they can be created in the form of scheduled messages, right? Some sort of reminders, and people can essentially use them to be reminded. Employees can be reminded that there is scheduled maintenance for specific equipment, and they need to essentially perform it. And because these reminders, they kind of intrusive, so the employees, it will be very hard for employees to not notice them. They will notice them. And it's just one of the examples, right? And the good, how to say, an excellent option that we're providing is ability to target the audience. So you can essentially create schedules for specific equipment, and it will target specific groups, when it comes to the maintenance. Analytics and reportings. that one is it's all about essentially measuring measuring essentially the quality and the performance of the communication channels, like different types of messages, different types of content, right? You can potentially even like do A and B sort of testing with your audience using DeskAlerts. So crafting like slightly different messages and checking whether engagement rates are changing. So you can essentially make improve your content and just give me 1 second. Yes, so that's pretty much the conclude the list of the cases that I wanted to present today. And so just looping back into the first slide into the presentation. So I would like to stress that the importance of the employees, like engagement, especially those people who work in isolated areas, it is very high, and essentially it makes them engaging them, essentially communicating them, makes them feel like a part of the company. Also takes care of their mental health and like their performance, and also showing them that their opinions are heard, so they can provide like feedbacks, insights. They can also essentially provide like the information about the proactively about like failing or degrading like services, and so that whole essentially like variety of scenarios that I described, they serve with one goal: to keep people focused on their work and to keep them and to keep them essentially uh, keep them a part of the organization, right? So um, saying that the landscape of the remote field workers is evolving. So the cases I presented are just like a small snippet, and there will be probably more as this particular area is getting more and more attention. But it's very I believe that taking this particular approach will allow the company to respond better to the changing external environment, and adapt to them, and stay on afloat in some cases. So this is like the last slide of the presentation. I'd like to say thank you very much for being a part of this session. I hope I was I was presenting the case that was interesting and engaging. If you would like to have a further discussion with us, you can see the contacts of myself or Natalie. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, please go ahead. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.